Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. Yahweh Shai being the name of his beloved Son, who the world really calls Jesus. It's the brother Yair Radah, the WFI Indiana camp, coming at you with a quick cold cut through the spirit, just exhortating brothers and sisters in these last days to continue to push forward, cleave unto the Most High God when you're going through these trials, tribulations, all hell breaking loose in your household or at your workplace, or you just lost your job, you trying to, all these bills coming up on you, all hell around you is breaking loose. Right, but in the midst of that hell, in the midst of those trials, in the midst of those different things, guess what? You got to keep your mind focused on the Most High God in these last days. Right? You got to keep your mind focused on Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. In the midst of all those different things. And it could be easy to take your mind off of the Lord, off your studies, off your reading, fasting, praying, so on and so forth, when you got to worry about everything else going on around you to make sure those different things is in order. But ultimately, you keeping your mind stayed upon the Most High God, that the Lord gonna take care of everything else, or at least you'll be in right perfect peace in the midst of while all hell is breaking loose around you, and you'll be able to get those different things in order if it be the Lord's will. All right, so let's go dive into it real quick through the spirit. Right, first let's get this account in Job. Right, because real quick. First, let me go to Romans, real quick. Right, this is the book of Romans, chapter 15, and verse 4. It says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning." So, and we bring this out. Well, I bring this out a lot because at the end of the day, the accounts that's in the scriptures, we're supposed to go back to those different things to learn from those situations. Learn, Salakia. Understand that, okay, look, this brother, okay, my forefather did this thing wrong. Let me not make that decision, or let me move in this certain type of way. All right, I see that the Lord delighted in when he did that, or when these different things came up against him, this is how he reacted towards it. So let me take a mental note of that and try to do that. These are the different things that we got to understand when it comes to the scriptures, right? It's written for our learning at the end of the day, right? Reading on, it says that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope, right? So with that being said, let's go to the book of Job. All right, let's get the account in Job, man. All right, it's the book of Job, chapter 1, and I'm gonna try to get right to the point. I'm gonna start at verse 14. All right, it says, "And there came a messenger unto Job." I'm gonna start at verse 13. It says, "And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, The oxen were plowing and the asses feeding beside them, and the Sabines fell upon them," meaning what? They killed them, right? "And took them away," right? So they killed them and took them away, right? They basically stole from Job. And back then, right, your livestock and your oxen and different things that you had, right, ultimately that was like your work, your source of income. All right, it says, "And took them away, yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee," right? So Job basically lost his job. That's equivalent to you nowadays, you losing your job, right? Job, he lost his oxen, his cattle, and different things, and the men that worked for Job, guess what? They died, except one. You understand? So, in these days, if you say you lose your job or whatever the case may be, that relates to you. And you got to be able to see and read the book of Job to understand, okay, how did Job go about this? How did Job react to these different things? Because Job was upright, man, and perfect before the Lord. So that's how we got to be in these last days when these different trials and tribulations come up upon us. You understand? It says, reading on, it says, verse 16, "While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, The fire of Yahawah is fallen from heaven, and hath burnt up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am alone, and I Salakia, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Right. So now Job got his oxen and different things stolen away from him. Right, the oxen and the ass stolen away from him. His men got killed. Now, hey, his all his sheep just died. All right, it says, verse 17, it says, while he was yet speaking, there came another, and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away. Yea, the slain, Salakia, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am alone, Salakia, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. So Job lost all his work. You understand? Job lost his job, all his work, his servants, and his kids, all in a day. Okay, so these different things are you could apply it to your life, and Lord willing, brothers and sisters should know about the story of Job. And if you don't, I would encourage brothers and sisters to read the book of Job. Okay, it says, this is the point that I want though. It says, verse 20, then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped. Right, when you shave your head, that's a sign of mourning. Right, it says, and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. It says, in all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. So you understand? So in the midst of all those different things happening, Job still had his mind focused on the Lord. Job still had the spirit and was in the spirit enough to understand, hey, look, this is just the doing of the Lord at the end of the day. The Lord gave me these different things. Guess what? The Lord can take them away. And that's what, and that's when you read the next chapter, he had to explain to his read. Right, let's get that real quick. Yes, the very 2, and get right to the point, verse 9. It says, then said his wife unto him, doest thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. So his wife told, Job's wife literally told him to curse God and die. I mean, they were like, why are you still worshiping this man? Why are you still worshiping the Lord that he just did all this to you? All right, just Eve getting out the spirit. You understand? Being that weaker vessel. And Job, how did Job respond? It says, but he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What, shall we receive good at the hand of Yahawah, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. So Job understood, look, you're gonna receive good and you're gonna receive evil from the Lord at the end of the day. The Lord gives and the Lord taketh away. So in all this, Job kept his mind stayed upon the Lord. Right? Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 15. Because at the end of the day, you got to realize, first of all, also like you tell you in the book of Job, hey, whoever perished being innocent. Nobody's innocent enough to not have anything come upon them at the end of the day. You get judged based off of things from your past life. You understand? So all these different things, real quick, let me get that real quick. The book of Revelation. Right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 13. It says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. So your works follow you at the end of the day. So the point is, look, no matter what, guess what? Nobody ever perished being innocent. Things are, when the Lord brings these different things upon you, hey, guess what? Hey, it's righteous at the end of the day. You understand? It's not like we don't deserve when certain things come upon us. The Lord judgments and chastisement is righteous at the end of the day. All right, but this is the book of Job, chapter 15 and verse 15 and verse I'm gonna start at verse 14. It says, "What is man that he should be clean, and he which is born of a woman that he should be righteous? Behold, he putteth no trust in his saints. Yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight." Here's the point. It says, "How much more abominable and filthy is man which drinketh iniquity like water." It said, "Which drinketh iniquity like water." So man is unclean at the end of the day. The Lord even said, "Hey, the thought of foolishness is sin." You understand? So all these different things that's coming about or that may happen in your life, guess what? It's not like we're unblameless. It's not like we don't deserve the things that come to us, whether it be judgment or whether it be chastisement. You understand? All the ways of the Lord are righteous. All right. So you got to take these accounts, like the account of Job and the things that he went through, and apply it to yourself. Okay, let me see how he moved. What did he do? How did it? Okay, he never got mad at the Lord. He so on and so forth. You got to understand that. Look, let me move in that spirit, because at the end, we all know what? Hey, the Lord, blessed Job multiple fold, and gave him double than what he had. And gave him double than what he had before. Let's go to the real quick. Let's go to the book of Matthew. All right, let me get this. It's the book of Matthew. Salakia. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 14, and I'm gonna start at verse. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 14, and I'm gonna start at verse 24. Right? It says, "But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Yahawah went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Yahawah spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto come unto thee on the water." Verse 29. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahawah. It says, verse 30, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. So the point that I wanted to this is, look, Peter understood that there was Yahawah. Peter had his mind on Yahawah. Peter had his eyes on Yahawah. And guess what? He went and stepped and walked onto the sea. Right? All while he had his mind focused on Yahawah, right? Yahawah, guess what? Hey, he walked upon the sea. He stayed afloat. He didn't drown in this thing. He wasn't sinking. He wasn't worried about the things that was going on around him at first. But as soon as he took his mind off of the Lord, what happened? He began to sink. Right? He began to sink. Let me read 30 one more time. It says, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and began to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. You understand? Real quick. So like, go to the Apocrypha real quick. I want to get this. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon. So like, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 4. It says, for though they flourish in branches for a time, yet standing not fast, they shall be shaken with the wind. And through the force of winds, they shall be rooted out. So that wind can symbolize what? That wind can symbolize what? Trials, tribulations, distractions, people from the world coming back, trying to entice you, different things of the world coming to entice you and get you what? Your mind stay off the Lord. If your mind gets off the Lord, guess what? You more susceptible to these spirits and demons. You getting out the spirit. It's easy for you to get out the spirit when your mind not focused on the Lord. You understand? When you out the spirit, hey, it's free game at that point. So that wind, guess what? That Peter was dealing with, that wind that Peter was dealing with could have been anything. You understand? On the looking at it in the spirit, for you. You understand that wind could be, look, you got a bunch of bills that gotta get paid. They keep calling your phone, they keep mailing you mail, that the IRS knocking on your door, or it could be your children. Your children might be acting up, your household may be out of order, and you trying to get it back in order, trying to do the things pleasing unto the Lord. Okay, it could be sickness in your household or with yourself. All right, these trials and tribulations, it could be whatever. That wind can be whatever, man. That's taking your mind off of the Lord. Because when you're dealing with them, all these different bills, or you may lose your job. Hey, you gotta remember that you gotta keep your mind focused on the Lord. You gotta remember that. All right, look, this and that happened, but hey, I still gotta magnify the name of the Lord at the end of the day. I still got to do the things pleasing unto the Lord. You can't go and start getting carnal and start trying to take things on your own. All right. You lost your job, so now you spend 24 hours a day trying to look for a job, and you ain't read it all. Or your family's sick, so you going around and you taking down medicine every 3 hours, or giving somebody medicine every 3 hours. Or you trying to you behind on certain bills or whatever, so now you working so much nonstop that you don't get time to the Lord, man. Then in the process you end up becoming a workaholic. You don't pray as much, you don't fast as much, you don't read because you always at work, right? These are the different things, and we in captivity right now. We understand that, but at the end of the day, you still gotta give that time into the Lord and keep Him first before all things. You understand? Right, verse 30 again, it says, but when he saw, I know this is the third time reading, I'm gonna read it again. It says, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. Why? Because he took his mind off of the Lord, and he was worried about, damn, I gotta pay this bill. Oh dang, my daughter's sick, or my son's sick, right? Or my wife's sick. Dang, I just lost my job, I gotta find a new one so I can do this. Hey, you taking your mind off of the Lord. The Lord will provide those different things at the end of the day. It says, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Yahawah stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? So in that process of whatever you're going through, whatever trials and tribulations you're going through, you can't doubt the Lord. You can't you can't feel like the Lord's not with you, or feel like the Lord's not there. The Lord is there. You just got to endure and persevere through whatever trials and tribulations you're going through, making sure you keep your mind focused on the Lord. Let me get this precept in book of Isaiah. Right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse 3. It says, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Trust ye in the Lord forever, for in the Lord Yahawah is everlasting strength. So everlasting strength is in the Most High God, right? It's in the Lord Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's where that everlasting strength is. That's where you pulling your strength from at the end of the day. That's who you're supposed to cast your burdens upon at the end of the day. You understand? Let's get there real quick, right? So whoever mind, you got to make sure you're keeping your mind focused on the Lord, keeping your mind on the Lord. When those winds are going to and fro or all around you, guess what? You gotta keep your mind stayed on Him. Why? Because He'll keep you in perfect peace. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and 22. It says, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and He shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. You understand? So these are the things that we gotta make sure that we're remembering while we're going through these different trials and tribulations. Yeah, it may be challenging sometimes, but you still got to make sure even if you snap out of it, guess what? You got to snap back in and stay in the spirit. And realize that, look, the Lord got you at the end of the day. And continue to do the things that's pleasing unto the Lord, making sure you put Him first in these last days. All right, let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 6. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6, and verse 25. And it reads, Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, and what ye shall eat, and what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life, is not the life more than meat, and the bodily raiment, right? Because life is more than just making sure you got food on the table or a house over your head, whatever the case may be. It's more to life than that. You understand? At the end of the day, we trying to get the kingdom of heaven. In the scriptures, hey, they was going from house to house, right? But let's read on. It says, behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? So the Lord comparing you to the bird. He like, look, I feed them every day. Clothe them. Make sure they good. Are the Israelites, right? It's not Yasha Allah, right? It's not you that's in this truth doing your best to make sure you keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments in sincerity and in truth, having faith in Yahawah Shem Yahawah. Are you not much better than the fowls of the air? Right? It says, 27, right? It says, which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they glow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God and yes, Solomon, hey, read the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 1. Hey, Solomon was decked out, man. Right? Grills in his mouth, gold chains around him, a nice garment, right? Royal garment. And the Lord said, hey, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Right? Verse 30, it says, wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? You see that? So you got to have faith in the Lord at all times and understand that, look, he going to take care of you at the end of the day. As long as you doing what you're supposed to be doing, right, to the best of your ability, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, having faith in Yahawah Shem Yahawah, doing the things that are pleasing in the sight of the Lord, hey, he going to take care of you. You understand? Let's read on. It says, verse 31, therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or whither withal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. So the Lord understand and know what you need at the end of the day. He already know what you need. He already know what you want. He already know what you need. Right? He know what you're going to ask for. He already know these different things. Right? He's the all-knowing God. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of Yahawah and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Right? So you got to seek the kingdom first, man. You got to seek the kingdom of the Lord. And guess what? All these different things, your needs, the things that you do need, the Lord will add that unto you at the end of the day. Right? Whether that be in this life or whether that be, guess what? In the next. Lord willing, in the kingdom. Right? Verse 34, it says, take therefore no thought for tomorrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil there. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Right? So you got to understand and realize that the Most High God thinks more highly of you than he does the fowls of the air or the grass that's clothed with the lilies, so on and so forth. The animals that get fed. Right? The lions, right? The bears, so on and so forth. The fish in the ocean. And they all get fed and understand that they understand that the Lord is the one that's doing it. All right, their mind is not getting distracted off of the wickedness and folly and vanity and madness. And they understand that the Lord is the one that gives unto them. All right, you should be able to understand that too when you're going through these different trials and tribulations. You understand? You just got to keep your mind focused and stayed upon the Lord. All right, let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 115. like you bear with me. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 115, and Psalms 115 and verse 9. It says, O Israel, trust thou in the Lord. He is their help and their shield. So you got to make sure you trusting in the Lord at the end of the day. That's where all this come down to. You got to trust in the Lord and realize and understand that the Lord going to take care of your needs. The things that you need, the Lord will take care of it. Right? Real quick. All right, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, I believe. All right, it's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, and verse 6. It says, there is also another thing, a city is builded and set upon the broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. So you got to understand, when you walking in this walk that we in right now in the truth, serving Yahawah Shem Yahawah, it's a straight and narrow path. Right? Straight and narrow path. Same thing it tell you in the book of Matthew chapter 7. Straight and narrow path, guess what? As if you got a fire on the one side and the water on the other side. Don't get distracted by that fire and water, those trials and tribulations, the wind that's blowing. All right, you got deep water on one side where you can slip, fall into a deep water. You got fire on this side, right? Keep right, like they say in the world, tunnel vision in this thing. Keep your mind focused and stayed upon the Lord. It says, verse 9, it says, if this city were now given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? So at the end of the day, you got to understand you're going to go through trials and tribulations in this truth. It's going to be times where you might get in a financial bind, or all hell might be breaking loose in your household, or all hell just might be breaking loose, period. So you got to understand we got to go through these different things, getting tried in the spirit by the Most High God. All right, to see if we're going to keep our mind stayed on him, to see if we're going to forsake him, or if we're going to continue to cleave unto him in these last days. It says, verse 10, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so is Israel, even so also is Israel's portion. You see that? It says, because of their sake I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Meaning what? When Adam went off, guess what? Then that's when everything was made straight, right? Narrow. It says, then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils, meaning dangers, and very painful. So we got to go through these different things at the end of the day. Why? Because if we want to receive the prize that's at the end of the road, right? And that's ultimately what this whole mission comes down to, is receiving, right, what's at the end, which is the kingdom of heaven. You understand? So in the midst of while all hell is breaking loose, trials and tribulations is going forth, you got to realize and understand that you got to keep your mind focused and stayed upon Yahawah Shem Yahawah, and that the Lord, he knows your every need. He know what you need, and he gonna take care of you. You just got to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do in these last days, and doing the things that are pleasing unto the Lord. All right, I'm gonna bring this out. Right, this is the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 35. It says, "Who shall separate us from the love of a Mashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? It says, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things We are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Yahawah, which is in Hamashiach Yahawah our Lord. So you got to understand that, look, you don't let anything separate you from the love of the Most High God. No trials, no tribulations, all hell can be breaking loose around you. But guess what? You got your mind focused on the Lord, and his right hand, guess what, is going to uphold you. Right? And I'm going to end on that, right? This book of Psalms, I'm going to end on this, right? This is the book of Psalms, right? One of my favorite scriptures. I bring it out all the time, right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 63, and verse 8. It says, my soul followeth hard after thee, thy right hand upholdeth me. All right, so if you follow my heart after the Lord in these last days, keeping your mind stayed upon him, guess what? His right hand going to uphold you through whatever you're going through. All right, so Lord willing, brothers and sisters, was edified. This is just encouragement in these last days to continue to press forward and persevere through whatever trials and tribulations you're going through. We almost at the end. Keep your mind focused on Yahawah Shem Yahushua. Right, so with that, Kwam Yasha Allah, Shalom.